I don't think I need to do anything. Press the AMG button. I don't think I really need to do anything to... So I've just jumped out of that as the modern day Roadster, and apparently this thing here was the go-to back in the day. So I am here at FTR Performance, and in front of us you can see we have the SL63 AMG. Now the weather's kind of playing with me. It looks like it's sunny, but at the same time it looks like it's going to rain. So I have about 5 to 10 minutes to jump in this thing and go for a first drive and tell you guys what I think. Would it be this over that? Bearing in mind, this does have a 5.5 litre V8 bi-turbo. And I know we've got a short amount of time, but I cannot just bypass this. Have a look at this flat bottom steering wheel, proper old school AMG. You can see we've got the analog dials as well. This is when AMG was at its peak. You can see we've also got these red leather seats, electrically controlled of course, and down here, this part's my favourite, you've got a physical drive knob. You don't need to go through the menus, just switch through this: Comfort, Sport, Sports Plus, Manual, and of course RS mode, which we might go on to on the road. And also you can see here, this does have adaptive suspension, or whatever Mercedes fancy term is for it. But overall, as a car, in my opinion, it has dated ever so slightly, but it works. And of course, with FTR doing what they do, providing cars and of course styling the cars if needed, these will probably end up going black. So let me know if you agree with that. And maybe even this, and maybe the calipers might get a little spray. But overall, it's not a bad looking car. But the most important thing is, which should be the most important thing for most petrol heads, how does it drive? So we are out on our first drive and the heavens are opened up. And something I've just noticed is there is no right stalk on this car. That shows how unique Mercedes were back in the day. When you saw an AMG badge, you knew it was something special. It wasn't a 4-cylinder 2-litre. It was something big, 6.3, the W504. Something I must say though is, for a car of this age, it drives so smooth. Again, Mercedes are all about the luxury, all about the smoothness, and all about the performance. And if I dial this from Comfort to Sport to Sports Plus to M, and really take in the... I don't think I need to do anything. Press the AMG button. I don't think I really need to do anything to... That's real AMG, a real AMG right there. It doesn't hang about. Initial impressions, it does not hang about. Now, something that is quite surprising is that this revs, according to the rev meter, only up to 6,000 RPM. But I'm sure it probably has gone higher than that, or it can go higher than that. But again, this is just the first drive, so we're just gonna see what the car can do from a second gear pull. Smooth throttle. Wow, this car feels like it's on rails. Fair play, Mercedes. Fair play. And I've got to give it to it. These dampers definitely work, because in sports you feel practically everything, but on roads like ours, turn that off, let it go back into normal mode, and it soaks it up really, really well. Now, having just jumped out of the Z4 M40i, again a car from FTR Performance in Dunstable, it does look very familiar in terms of driving position. I'm sat nice and low as I probably need to be, and the car feels direct. However, this feels a bit more raw, because back in the day, 2012 onwards, this is what Mercedes were about, that raw AMG experience. As I mentioned, the C63 just was a proper car growing up. That was a proper AMG. Hearing that roar and just seeing it go past, you just knew it had some presence. This doesn't have as much presence, I'm going to be brutally honest, but what it doesn't have in presence, it definitely makes up for in performance. I'm not going to do that too much because of the wind, but yeah, this is when they were getting things right. Now, dialing things back into comfort, it is slightly stiff. Again, this is an AMG, it's not just a standard Mercedes. It's not made with comfort in mind, it's made with performance in mind, whilst still being able to perform day-to-day tasks like driving to the shops or going to visit friends. However, this isn't the sort of car you'd want to leave in comfort for a very long time. You'd want to whack it into Sport or Sports Plus and just enjoy that 5.5. And let's see how well this gearbox is. It's probably in 4th or 5th gear here, cruising along at 30 miles an hour. A little squeeze off the accelerator. Let's see the kick down and go. That caught me by surprise. The shifts, when left alone, and the downshifts are orgasmic. You feel it as well. That's real AMG. When you go into manual mode and you shift, it feels quite smooth, which is great because you don't want to unsettle the car. However, leaving it in Sports Plus and letting it do its thing, just, again, look at that, instant. Cruising along here, back down to a 30. I'm not doing a kick down, I'm just giving it enough and it's instant. The sound this thing makes, wow. So again, this is a first drive and we're against the clock, or against the weather in this case, although it has brightened up, which is very, very weird. Looks wise, room for improvement. Again, this is an old car, I want to say 13 years to this day, so it's comparing it against its own back in the day, it was definitely a head turner, there's no doubts about that. But right now it probably needs some FTR magic. Black pack, darken the wheels, maybe get rid of the chrome, we could be onto something. Maybe a little lip on the back as well. But that aside, on the exterior, I think it works. On the interior, again, I just love it. Analog, the digital stuff, sure, it's great to have all the tech, the Apple CarPlay, which is probably missing from this car, but having analog dials and just seeing everything go up nice and quickly without having to go through menus. And as mentioned, this is also a convertible, so on days like this when you can trust the weather, which isn't very often here in England, you'd want to really take this down and take it all in. In fact, now the roof is down, I think it's the perfect time to go back into our Sports Plus and really hear this 5.5 litre thing. Listen to this, lads. The builders love it. I hope they do anyway. Oh man. Back when Mercedes were the champions of sound. Now, of course, this era had great cars around like the E92, BMW, and their glorious V8, but the AMG just was like somebody just opening up their nostrils and just blowing enormous bogies at you, just giving it to you. Sorry for you guys looking at my nostrils, but that's the sound that it gave. Imagine a horse making that sound. Like, listen to that. That is AMG. And then through the gears, that is real AMG. None of this speakers. You could turn the volume down on this and it wouldn't make a difference. You could blow a fuse in your radio and it wouldn't make a difference. Now, straight off the bat, this is a special car. The emotion that it gives you when you're just cruising along compared to the emotion that it gives you when in sports mode, that is a sign of a special car. It just does it very, very well here in comfort, which means when you put it in sports, it feels even more special. Again, cruising here in 5th gear, 25 miles an hour, foot down. You can't beat that. You cannot beat that. So guys, that has been the video. It is a very short, impromptu video because again, I was racing against the weather, and believe me, it was raining. But either way, for first drive experience, is this car special? Yes. The Z4 M40i would probably be a better daily and a better all-round car. In terms of what car is more special, of course it's this each and every day of the week. But which car would you want to turn up to an event in? That's the question. Let me know in the comments whether this ticks the box for you or whether it's something newer, because I'm quite sure most people that love their cars would probably say this. That has been the video. If you enjoyed it, please smash the thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see all of your faces in the next one. It's a 30, actually it's a 20, which I am doing, so there is no send off in this end of the video. Take care, God bless.